We need more women in church. But we've got first-time candidates, we've got veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan, record numbers of women, Americans who previously maybe didn't have an interest in politics as a career, but laced up their shoes and rolled up their sleeves and grabbed a clipboard because they too believe this time's different. This moment's too important to sit out.
Former President Barack Obama back in 2018 emphasizing the importance of women candidates running for office. And women certainly didn't disappoint. In 2020, more women ran for the U.S. House and Senate than ever before. This on top of what they did during the 2018 election cycle when women ran for and were elected for office in record numbers. Several of those women, all over the age of 50, came out of nowhere to get themselves elected to office. More on that in a moment, but first a quick explanation on the significance of being over 50. Know your value with Forbes for a special 50 over 50 list to celebrate the women who have achieved significant success after the age of 50, women who are overcoming barriers and shattering misconceptions about age and gender. The project coincides with much of the world navigating how to reopen amid the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And if this past year has taught us anything, it's the need to find and utilize undertapped talent. Let's bring in Chief Content Officer of Forbes Media and editor of Forbes, Randall Lane. And this morning, we're looking, Randall, at women who came out of nowhere to get elected as part of our series. And number one on our little list this morning is Lucy Macbeth. Tell us about her.
Well, she came out of nowhere, but she had an incredible backstory. The project is so many of these women have this incredible experience, and now they're just when they have the most experience, the most wisdom, the most knowledge they're putting it to use. As a survivor, she was a Delta flight attendant for 30 years, but she also survived breast cancer twice. And then most importantly, her son Jordan was killed in 2012 in a violent gun incident when he was just sitting in a gas station, not doing anything, was fight over loud music. And she was inspired to become a gun control advocate. And then after the Parkland shooting in 2017, she ran for Congress. She ran in Newt Gingrich's old district and won as a Democrat. I know it's kind of, a presage to kind of the Ossoff Warnock phenomenon 2020 that she didn't run to the center. She ran and she spoke authentically. She won in 2018 in Georgia, and she won again last year.
Reverend Al, you have special insight into how special this woman is. Share with us.
I was on a Delta flight, and she was a flight attendant, and she walked over to me. I didn't know her from anyone, and she said, Reverend Al, my son was killed because of loud music, and you go out and fight causes. You haven't talked about my son. And it was Jordan Davis. That's how I met her. And now I go to Washington and they say, give us a minute, the Congresswoman will try to get to you. I mean, she took the passion of fighting criminal justice into the political arena and turned her pain into power. And as Randall said, she won in a district that was not just an all-black district. She won in a district that was very well multiracial, but she never gave in her beliefs, her thoughts, and she really represented the New South even before we saw the entry of Ossoff and Warnock. She did it in Newt Gingrich's district. She should really be celebrated more.
Randall, second on our list of women who came out of nowhere to get elected is Lisa McClain, a mother of four from Michigan. Tell us about her.
This phenomenon is bipartisan, and you saw that in 2020, where in 2018 you saw a wave of Democratic women. And in 2020, you saw a lot of Republican women getting elected for the first time. Lisa McClain, who talking politics at the dinner table, and her kids got tired of it and said, instead of complaining about everything, why don't you do something about it? She got through the primary up in Michigan, and she won easily in the general election. But here's somebody again she was a fintech executive, no political experience, but decided that as a second career and trying to leverage what she learned in the private sector, she was going to go to Congress. And with no experience at 54, she's now a congresswoman.
Now, another Republican, Maria Salazar out of Florida, number 3.
That's right. She's out of Little Havana, born and raised Cuban refugees as her parents. She was a journalist, and she's 59 and spent 25 years. I think she won 5 Emmy Awards, so she was a big journalist out of Miami. And she beat another woman, Donna Shalala. She ran in 2018 and lost, and then there was a big upset last year in winning, and you saw that kind of as an indication of actually what was happening at large, where you had a lot of Cuban Americans coming home to the Republican Party, and you had Maria Salazar, no experience, sweeping in.
So 4th on the list is North Carolina Elizabeth City Mayor Bettie Parker. And actually, Morning Joe producer Daniela Pierre-Bravo recently caught up with Mayor Parker and asked her if her age was ever a factor in her decision to run for office.
One thing, you got to put the buts and the ifs out the way, right? You have to keep the fire burning to do service. I didn't look at the number, my age. I didn't even think about it. I was 65. So I felt like this was a thing for me to do, because it was sort of like a burning in my spirit that I was going to do something beyond what I had already done to help people. I stepped into politics first as a Pasquotank County Commissioner. I stepped up as a woman, and it took bravery to do this, you know, and it took stamina, you take whatever else, but I was determined. And I triggered the primary, and I won. Once you start winning, I don't care what it is, once you see success, that kind of emboldens you. And I feel like I can do this.
That is a know your value moment for sure. And Randall Boyce, she really speaks for herself. I love her. She just kind of did it and then let it build upon itself.
Part of her slogan was when she ran for mayor was retired and inspired, and she's inspiring to all of us. I mean, she grew up in the Jim Crow South. She went to a segregated school in North Carolina, and then she became a math teacher. She actually was elected. When she was elected, she won the primary. Then she won the general election 94-6. And when they asked her, how did you do so well? She's, well, in part because I've been a math teacher here 30 years. Basically, I taught all the voters. Here's somebody who's a role model. Here's somebody who does not let, where she was born into and the station she was born into. This is somebody who wants to set an example for her community. And for 72 years old and incredibly inspiring.
Randall, before you go, obviously this is weekly here, but how is the response going in Forbes to this list so far, with nominations and just interest?
Again, we're pushing towards 10,000, and nominations are still open for the rest of the month. We're seeing that this is just overwhelming, and it's exactly what you teed up, Mika, in the beginning, that this is untapped talent, and more than untapped, as we see with these four incredible women, this life experience. These women are at the best stage of their career and their best stage of their life. They understand their whys, and they're applying it for the public good. And we're seeing thousands of people like Mayor Bettie Parker, who people haven't heard about, who are doing incredible things.
Forbes, Randall Lane, thank you very much. We continue each week here on Morning Joe, featuring more women who have achieved significant success after 50. And if you know a woman who is shattering age and gender norms and would like to nominate her for our 50 over 50 list, which will be featured in Forbes, be sure to let us know. Go to knowyourvalue.com or Forbes.com and click on 50 over 50 to learn more. And don't forget to know your value.